Yo, what is going on, Dad Squad? We're back here with another video presented by the Dad Gaming. I'm Coach JSU, and I'm going to be teaching you guys how to rank up. We got our intermediate player tips this week. Starting off with an overview, we're going to dive into how to improve your offense. So let's get started. Section 1, offense. Offense has a big part of winning and losing. We have 6 sections lined up here to help you improve your offense game. Let's dive in with hitting the ball with power. So before we actually get into performing a power shot, we need to learn how to actually do a power shot. So if we go back here, you can just quickly see off the wall here, I turn around and I waited, and I got all the power on the shot and sent it downfield here for a nice clear. And I just want to break this down, how this is actually performed quickly here. The key here is to look at your angles. So as the ball bounces up, you'll notice that I have hit the ball here right around this sweet spot here. And so if you take a look at the ball, this kind of area here, I would say is your sweet spot for the ball. And you want to be hitting it after it kind of comes down. Say this is the ball's momentum here. It comes down, it bounces up. You want to be connecting with it on that sweet spot. And that is going to send the ball absolutely flying downfield. This is how you get all your power shots, is you have to be hitting it as the ball is bouncing up on the upwards momentum here, like so. And you got to be hitting it in the sweet spot here to be generating a lot of power. So this is how you're going to be performing your power shots. Let's get into how do you actually practice it. All right, guys, there's going to be 2 ways that we're going to train power shots. The first is going to be free play. The second is going to be through an actual trainer. For free play, just hit the ball off the wall here, and we're gonna do kind of like a volley practice here. So we're gonna let that bounce. We're gonna come all the way back, and we're gonna turn and face, and we're just gonna wait for the right timing of the bounce. We're just gonna do this over and over again, practicing, turning, and trying to get some power on our shots here. If the ball does end up rolling like this, just go ahead and drive into it, and it'll generate a lot of power that way. So if the ball is bouncing like it's coming towards me now, you can work on your bounce shots like so. And just try to get a lot of power on these, and just reset and keep doing this over and over again until you're comfortable. All right, the second part of power shots, we're gonna go into custom training here, go to browse, and we're gonna head down until we find power shots by Isa. I will copy the code and put it in the description. So the first few, you can actually get some power off of shots called hook shots. And if you miss this, go ahead and try it again. Not my day today. But these ones are meant to be hook shots. So you come at an angle and you cross over. That's going to generate a lot of power during the crossover. Our next shot here is going to be the bounce shot. And this is what we were talking about earlier on. This is where you want to hit it at the sweet spot as it's coming up. So you get a lot of power through the ball here. You can practice placing this in various corners of the net once you get good at just getting it on the net. You can turn your ball cam on and ball cam off. Some people seem to prefer that. So as they approach, they take the ball cam off, and they find that maybe it helps them to line up the shot a little bit better. A little bit of preference. I've seen a lot of pros doing this as well. So if they want to get that little bit extra accuracy, they take the ball cam off quickly right before they hit the shot. Our next section is about increasing your shooting accuracy. And I give this tip to a ton of players, whether they're low rank or high rank. They can come in here and they can do this. Increasing your shooting accuracy is one of the best things that you can do for your gameplay. So how do I actually train this with most people is I usually go into free play, and what we do is we come in and we hit the ball off the corner here. It's gonna bounce off the corner, and you just want to practice slamming it into the back of the net. But you know, if you're a more advanced player, what you can do is come in and hit that hard and try to hit it fast as it's coming off the corner here. And that's gonna really, the shorter amount of time that you can get to this ball and put it on net, the better you're gonna be in the game. The more opportunities you're gonna be able to create from different various shooting angles within a Rocket League game. So anyways, give this one a shot. It'll help out your shooting accuracy a lot. Learning how to dribble and flick. learning how to dribble and flick can be broken down into a few different core areas. First of all, you need to learn how to push the ball forward properly. And you don't do this by keeping ball cam on. You can, but it makes it very hard. So what most people do when they go to dribble is they have ball cam off, and that gives you that little arrow beside the car. You can use that kind of to help you out. The first step, the first drill that you do to be able to do this is you need to be able to be confident with just pushing the ball around. So what we do is we should go from one side, and then we come over, we cut over to the other side, and you just want to push it from left to right. So work on doing this, and then work on getting to the other side, and you can see the line around the ball. You kind of want to be around that 50% range while you're doing this. You can go around in circles, kind of cut back over, and this is the first step. The progression to this after is being able to cut in. So cut in, and you want to get under the ball. That's going to set it up for getting the ball on top of your car. Once the ball's on top of your car, you want to kind of keep it around the 50%, 45% in front of your car. Kind of right on top of your hood, maybe a little bit to the front of your car. And so just practice, dribbling, getting that chip, and then getting and just keeping the ball on your car. You don't need to be boosting around like a madman. You can do this going at a slow pace. You can turn around, you can do this, pop it up, just practice driving around with it on your car. You could also do a cut. So as you're bringing it around here, kind of cut to get it on top of your car. And once you're comfortable with getting it on top of your car, if you guys remember from our other training, how do you actually do the flick? There's two different types of jumps, right? There's the soft jump, and then there's the harder jump when you hold it down. So the soft touch jump, you're just kind of tapping it. And so when you want to do your flick, we're going to be using soft touches. We're going to do a soft touch, and then we're going to do, there's a few different types of flicks. I recommend doing one where you air roll left and then kind of bring your controller to the side. You do a side flick like this. I recommend kind of doing these. You could also just do a frontwards flick. That's also pretty basic, so we'll show you how those are done. There's a few different advantages to doing the side flick. First of all, I don't have nearly as much consistency doing the frontwards flicks. And the frontwards flicks, your recoveries are not quite as good as well after doing them. So I don't really recommend people do the frontwards flicks. Sideways flicks like this, they're consistent, and you get a way better recovery after you perform the flick. Another key note for performing flicks is when you're using them in game, make sure that if you don't know where the player is, flick early. So when you flick early, a lot of times people make the mistake, they hold their flick way too long and it gets shut down by the defense. So even right now, let's say you don't know where the defender is because the ball's covering it, flick early and just keep practicing that over and over again. The main point of a flick in most scenarios is not to score, it's just to get over the defender. So practice your dribbling first. Once you can dribble, get the ball on top of your car. Once you're comfortable with holding the ball in your car, you can start to flick. All right, aerial car control drills. The first thing that you're going to want to do is bind air roll from off one of your buttons on the right hand side of your stick. I have mine on L2. You could put yours on L1. I think the majority of players use them on L1. As long as you're able to air roll and boost at the same time, then you're good. But I think most people, they can't air roll and boost with the default settings. So make sure you got L1 or L2 down for your air roll so you can do things like this. There's a few different things that we're going to do for our drill here. The first thing we're going to do is called the air roll kind of circle motion around the ball. So you can see there's a line here, and we're going to follow the ball around this line at the halfway point here, and we're just going to air roll slightly as we're going through. This is the first step. Make sure you're comfortable just kind of, keeping your height in the thing here. If you find yourself kind of like going like this or whatever, that just means you need to practice this a little bit more so you're comfortable staying up in the air. Second drill that we're going to practice is we're going to come around like this, and we're going to go a further loop here all the way around. And you can practice this, with varying speeds. If this is easy for you, you can start to tornado spin, which is where you're air rolling and doing this at the same time. But more or less, you should be able to stay confidently in the air while spinning around. Now the progression to all this is we're going to go into training here, free play, and we're going to change our map. We're going to find the pillars map, one of the custom maps here. Here we go, pillars. And this one we're going to do a figure 8 drill. So if this is too hard to start, you don't have to do these spins. You could just go around like this. This is also good. You can just start off by doing this, but we're doing a figure 8 motion here. So going through and following this through. The start, you can just do it without spinning, but eventually you want to be spinning. And people probably ask, okay, why am I spinning in the air? The spinning in the air is going to set you up for advanced mechanics in the future. It also helps a lot with your recoveries if you need to be able to change directions quickly or maneuver in certain positions. Anyways, practice these various aerial drills here. All right, next up we have redirect training. Redirects are very important. When you advance to the ranks, a lot of your players are going to be looking for you up the field, and you also are going to be wanting to be looking to send passes towards your friends and your teammates. So the first one we're going to do is this insane redirects from Yuza. This would be, I would say, an intermediate redirect training pack. First shot kind of comes across the side here. And a lot of these, what you're doing is you're just arrowing and you're kind of waiting till you get close to it, and then you're going to do a flip forward. And they're pretty self-explanatory. If you miss like this, you can just work on practicing, just redo them over and over again. But when you first do this, like, I'm pretty comfortable with doing redirects because I've been doing this for a while. It's not going to come so naturally. Like, you have to learn the angle. You might hit it and it's going to bounce off the crossbar, or, you know, it's going to bounce. You might miss it completely like that as well. That's fine. Yeah, like, there's certain angles that even this one's coming across quite fast. So you just got to learn the angles here. Learn how to get your car up into the air. And I found this pack is pretty good because it simulates a fair amount of in-game situations that you can replicate. We go through this first pack. Once you get comfortable with this, we're going to go ahead and head into another pack that I like. So this next pack that we're going to do here is a little bit more advanced. This pack is from Justin. Highly recommend favoriting this one, especially for advanced play. So a lot of these are higher in the air. You can work on getting up and shooting these down. And you'll see this possibly, you know, in some higher level gameplay. But this first one's great. Like, practice this one over and over again. It's a great angle. I love that one. The second one you got to get ready for. Comes off the wall here, and you want to just work on getting that towards. Usually what we do is we do an air roll, we pull back, and you can either jump and try to redirect it through, or if you get to it faster, you don't need to do the flip. But that's going to be another one to practice. It's really good. I would say a lot of these, they start to get kind of insane. Like, these ones get a little bit insane. I'll skip through. This one off the wall is pretty good. There's a lot of situations here where you can practice following up as well. So go through this one. The first two are honestly my favorite of this pack. There's this really high one here coming up and practicing your angle there. I've seen a lot of scenarios in game that really replicate that. All right, our next area of training is going to be kickoffs. And we get a lot of people asking, you know, are kickoffs important? They are single-handedly one of the most important things in the game. If you screw up your kickoff, especially in 1v1 situations, you are not going to be winning that game. In 2v2s, it becomes even more apparent. 3v3 is not quite as bad, but we're going to give you a very simple kickoff strategy. One of the first things to note, if you don't already know, if you're in a situation where there's a person on the left and the person on the right, left always goes unless the person on the right calls for it. They say, I got it. So if you're just coming into Rocket League, or maybe you've been playing for a little bit, that is a standard thing that holds true all the way up to Grand Champ. So we have this training pack here. It's going to allow us to go through the various kickoffs, go through each one, and I'm going to give you an overview. So this first one here, what we're going to want to do is pretty straight on. So what we usually do for advanced training is do a sideways flip. Figure that up. Sideways flip here, and you want to come through and try to push it off to one side. So usually to the right here. The reason we do the sideways flip is because you don't lose. If you're doing a front flip, you're not gonna get through the ball as fast. The sideways flip, when you're coming through here, you can hold boost the whole time and grab the pads and then flip through. All right, our next shot here. This one we're gonna be doing the scrub killer kickoff. So the way this works is you do a front flip. Once you land, you're gonna turn and you want to be trying to position yourself so you're as straight with the goal line as possible. So front flip in and front flip again. Do that again. Front flip in, front flip again. And the reason that you want to be as straight with the goal as possible is because that's how you're going to be winning the kickoff. If you're sideways, there's a good opportunity that the other opponent is going to be winning that kickoff. So practice this. This is called the scrub killer kickoff. There's a lot of tutorials on YouTube. Giant Boy has a really in-depth tutorial on this one. But I would practice getting comfortable with doing this over and over again. You can use this kickoff all the way in the Grand Champ. You don't need to do anything crazy, like speed flips, anything like that. You don't need to do that. All right, for this kickoff, you're going to want to grab the first pad, do a sideways flip, and then try to hit the second pad. So like this. First pad, second pad, and then your kickoff strategy. This one's the same thing, just the other side. And I'll give you one advanced, there's another technique to the scrub killer kickoff that you can do, which is you can do a side flip like this and then get into it like so. It's a little bit harder to perform than a front flip, but you can get there a little bit faster. So if you're confident in doing this, this is another version of the scrub killer kickoff that you can do to get there a little bit quicker. But yeah, I would focus on just doing the front flip in and then front flip out. I do this all the way through in all my ranked games, and it works out really, really well. Improving your speed in Rocket League is essential to be able to rank up. And there are various ways apart from just moving around in free play really fast. There are some mechanics that we're going to have to learn as well. So the mechanics that we're going to dive into is going to be the Halfflip, the fast aerial, and the wave dash. Halfflips are very important if you get stuck. They're a great way to be able to get back to your net as fast as possible. I am going to teach you a way of how to do this without using arrow right or left. So the simplest way to start this is to perform this is to drive backwards and practice doing this, just landing on your back. It's super simple, right? Now, once you kind of got that down, which should be easy for everyone, you want to add an air roll into this. So you want to air roll out, right? So this is more or less what a half flip is, but there's one added thing here, which is you're canceling your flip. So what you're doing is as you go backwards, you're pushing forward on your stick to cancel it. So you're doing a backflip, but then you're pushing forward to cancel it, right? Backflip, push forward, cancel it. And once you've canceled your flip, as you're holding air roll, you're just going to hold left or right, and that's going to get you going into the right direction. So again, backwards, air roll, like so. The other way to perform this is you bind air roll right to any button, I guess left, or it could be air roll left as well, air roll left or right. And all you have to do then is just perform the flip cancel. Then after, you just hold air roll right. So it's a little bit of a cleaner, way to do this. But I personally like to do this without air roll right or left. All right, so once you get good with just getting the basics down, there's a training back here for half flips. You can practice doing these to try to, they kind of create in-game scenarios where you might need to do a half flip. So just go through all these, and it's going to really help you out as well for your half flips in different scenarios that you might actually need to use them in the game. All right, fast aerials. So fast aerials are pretty essential for getting up towards the ball. How to do a fast aerial is you pretty much just double jump and then boost upwards. There is a more advanced technique where you hold backwards and then you jump, but there's a chance that you're going to backflip while you're doing that. The easiest way to do this is just double jump and while you're holding back and boost. And you want to make sure that you're holding boost the whole time as you're jumping through, and that's how you fast aerial. So this is going to allow you to get up very fast for balls in the air. A lot of people may be single jumping. If you're single jumping, you're definitely going to get beat into the air in a lot of cases. So doing this double jump here as you're coming up. Now that we have an understanding of what double jumps are and fast aerials, let's go ahead and use this training pack provided by Doomsy. Practice getting up for them. So in these situations, we can just go through each of these shots, and you'll notice the shots progressively are going to get a little bit harder here. You're going to have to double jump to be able to get up to these in a fast enough manner here. So, and it does create a lot of these in-game. A lot of these train packs that we're using is to mimic what it's like in game. Wave dashing. Wave dashing can add a lot of speed to your game. Pretty much what a wave dash is when you jump and you do a forward front flip into the ground and it cancels it out. Now there I didn't get a lot of speed because I wasn't really trying. I kind of canceled it too much. But if it's very useful for coming off walls, so you're going to want to pull off and get the timing right there. I just got instantly into supersonic. You can see how that would be quite helpful in a game. Come off the wall, let go, boost for the landing, then you can boost through. Likely though, you'll be going supersonic, so you won't need to boost. You just continue doing flips or whatever, keep your momentum going there. You don't see a lot of people doing this just from like a standstill like this. It doesn't really make sense to do this from a standstill. Most of the time, people are using this to come off the wall and get really good recoveries. But yeah, you can use it on the wall as well. You can use it off the ceiling if needed. But it's a really good way to help with your recoveries and help you get back in a faster manner, especially off the wall. We need to get somewhere fast. Improving your defense in Rocket League is essential. There's a few areas that we can work on for your intermediate player tips: backboard wall clears, shadow defending, wall hits and departures, and defensive placements. If you've ever watched any professional Rocket League player and you've watched their streams, you'll notice that they're always on the backboard. They're covering their backboard. And this doesn't just go for professional players, it also goes for anyone who's at a higher rank. The backboard gets covered a lot. And one of the key mechanics is while you're up there is to be able to clear the ball from the backboard, generating a lot of power and getting it clear from up there. So one of our first defensive things that we're going to work on for mechanics is backboard wall clears. Head into our training here. We have a custom training pack here. I'm going to go ahead and hit play on this. All the training packs, the codes are located below. So the timing for this is going to be a little difficult. You need to be able to read as the ball is just bouncing off. And so I can't really slow this down, but when the ball is coming off, the ball is going to bounce. Let's just look at this. It's going to bounce off like that, right? So you can see that, see the trail behind the ball there, how it's just kind of bounces off. Right when that's coming off, you want to be meeting the ball. The timing is quite difficult, but if you get it good at it, you're going to be able to do what I just did there and generate a lot of power in connecting with the ball and sending it downfield. Ultimately, what you want to be doing is getting this ball out far, being able to like really get a lot of power on this. So keep practicing this until you're able to do so. You don't want to be just hitting it off to the side like I just did there. You want to be practicing actually generating a lot of power and getting that timing right, just like that. Shadow defending is massive. Best way to practice is in a casual 1v1 playlist. pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to let the incoming attacker approach you, and as they approach, when you find the right moment, you're going to cut in and hit the ball to the side of the field. You just want to keep trying this over and over again. Let them come to you and then cut in. So pushing the ball away into the side, keeping it out, but you need to be able to move backwards in a way that's comfortable. So keep practicing this over and over. It's a great skill to have at all levels of Rocket League. It's going to become quite apparent when you hit platinum rank or even diamond and champion rank that there's a lot of wall play. You need to be very comfortable coming off the walls. So we're going to go ahead and use the code here called Proteins Wall Shots. And for these shots, I think I mentioned before, it's not enough just being able to hit the ball. So you want to actually be able to try to send this on towards the net here. You practice kind of working your way through so you can learn how to get the follow-ups. Learn how to get this on net. And the more you practice this, the better you're going to get. It's going to be difficult, but you at least need to be able to make contact. The second part here is trying to get it actually on net, right? So contact is number one. Second part is trying to follow up and actually get that on net. Is go through all these. This is a great one here. Simulates a pretty good in-game scenario. It's mid. Work on getting your shots on towards the net here. Alright, next topic of discussion is defensive placement. This should be a pretty basic concept to understand. So we see a lot of players, the ball's like, you know, kind of rolling in here. And we have other players on the opposing team here, maybe here, and here. What are your options in terms of like where are you going to place this? And if you're a blue player, I see a lot of people when they go to hit the ball, I don't know why they just kind of send it out into this general direction here. You never want to be really passing the ball to the other side. So you're either going to want to make sure that you're clearing it out through the corners and up the walls, or if you have the capability to actually get, you know, a solid clear, laying it out into the open space. So it's just something to be aware of. Like before, if you're on defense, if you have that knowledge of where the opponents are, if they're all grouped up on one side, feel free to move the ball over to the other side of the field. If you don't have that knowledge, keep it safe. It's always safe. Move the ball over to the left-hand side and play it on the wall here. And once you make your play, let's say this guy comes up and he challenges you on the wall, that's fine. Just hightail it back around and cover your back post. And your next player, let's say you had a player here, your number two, he'll move up to the front post and your other player will move up and challenge the balls again. You got to keep this kind of rotating sequence on defense. Always play the ball out to the corners. Don't be playing it out so that people can get shots off on the net. Our final area of discussion is improving your game sense. You've probably seen there are some players that are professional level players. Their mechanics are low, but they have just the best awareness on the field. They know how to predict the plays, and they really capitalize on that. Turbo Pulsa being one of them, a 4-time world champion. So let's get into some of the things that you need to know to improve your game sense. All right, the next part that we want to talk about is predicting the play. What does this mean? This means that we want you to be thinking not one step, but 2 steps or even 3 steps ahead before the play unfolds. How to predict, okay, if I go for this challenge or if I hit this in the corner, like what's going to happen with the ball? Or if XYZ player has the ball and someone's going up for the challenge, what are the next areas? Where's that ball going to go if that challenge happens, right? Always be trying to predict the play. I'm going to show you a little sequence of events that happens here. So you can see John E, he's rotating back to our back right corner here. So we know he's back. Drewski's here. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to try to fake challenge, just put some pressure on him. Now that we know that that pressure is relieved, we see Johnny coming in. So we know he's going to get a touch on the ball and possibly clear this, right? So what do? We turn back in here. Adam's there for the touch. And we put a shot towards the net. So the other part about predicting the play as well is you want to be looking for opportunities and not really committing until the opportunities surface. So here we're kind of watching, and we can see that Drewski kind of misflipped here. He flipped a little bit too far. And we were moving up in a position here. You can see loose ball. We're pretty far back here. We're not really in a position to score. But you can see right there he did his misflip. So we're predicting that he's not going to land and recover here. So we move up and we take the shot and we capitalize on that opportunity. So just really watching out for those plays, like as they unfold as well, is going to be really important in your gameplay. Our next part, we want to talk about knowing your role in terms of rotations. Rocket League, in most games, the standard 3v3 rotation. There's 3 players. You have your A, B, and C player. Your A player is usually the one who's aggressing. He's looking to get a pass out. Your B player is looking for the pass. So let's just go ahead and mark down who right now is our A player. Johnny is going to be our A player. He is aggressing over here in this corner. And Sloth is going to be our person looking for the pass. And you can see myself, JSU, I'm actually on rotation back, so I'm the C player. So this is kind of like your A, B, C. The A player aggresses if the ball comes out in this area. C or B is ready to move in for a strike, and C is kind of moving back into this position in case the ball gets cleared back, right? And so that's your standard rotation roles. You have aggressor, person who's looking for pass, and the person who's back. And this usually is broken down into quadrants. So if the ball is on the left side left side of the field here, the quadrant is kind of like this. This is your A player's quadrant. Your B player should always kind of be a little bit off to the side. It can be close, but this is kind of like the A quadrant, the B quadrant, and your C player. Now I'm back on rotation, but really where I'm heading is this. I'm covering this whole back line down here, right? So this is your C quadrant. And if the ball switches over to the other side of the field, it's the same thing. B doesn't really change. C covers this side, and A is going to cover this side, right? So it's all dependent based on where the ball is. But that's pretty much what you want to be looking at is quadrants. So as you're rotating, you want to be thinking, okay, what's my role right now? Am I A or am I B or am I C, right? Am I looking for the pass? Am I going to be the aggressor, or am I waiting back for the clear? You can see our B player has just moved in. So once the B player moves in, he becomes A, right? Our B player just moved in. He's now assumed this A role, right? So Sloth is now A, JSU is now B, looking for the pass, and John E has now assumed, because he just turned from A, he's gonna go all the way back and get back here for C, right? So that's your general rotation. You need to know which role you are when you're playing this game. And now they finally get it clear, right? So you go onto a defensive rotation. And the defensive rotation is more or less, you have the first person cover, Johnny. You have the next person behind them. So you have the aggressor. You have the person who's usually this person's gonna slot into the near post. And then your C person's gonna slot in back here. And that's just going to loop. So after this guy goes in for his challenge, he's going to come back through and until the ball has been cleared. And there's going to just be this rotational thing here. So this is your A, your B, and your C. And A always turns into C, B turns into A, etc., etc. All right, next up, we're going to be in a game, and we're going to talk about making it easy for your teammates. And I'm going to show you something that makes it really hard for your teammates, which is going to be when you hang around the ball. So if I'm kind of just always hanging around the ball like this and kind of like, chasing a lot, you'll notice our teammates going to have no idea what we're doing. Like if I'm just always under the ball. So you want to make sure that your intentions are clear for your teammate. All right, right here. So the ball is played up here. Brando knows that he could go up on this ball, right? But he knows also that he's probably not going to get a good hit. And so instead of going up, what he does is he just leaves it for his teammate. And now look at his car, right? Look at the way he positions. He just turns off. He doesn't actually commit. He wants to make it very clear for the person behind that, hey, I'm not going up for this. So the person behind has a very clear understanding that they move in, they have the better angle for the shot, and they take the shot. Okay, so finding your team in Rocket League is a very important skill. Something that you really want to try to pay attention to here. We're going to give another example from Brando here, where he finds Sloth at the midfield. So the ball comes out here, it's hit towards, comes on the backboard. Now, Brando at this point, he could clear this down to the left-hand side of the field. He could clear it, to the right-hand side. Instead, what he does is he actually passes this towards Sloth, who's on his rotation back. That allows Sloth to continue to beat out a player and keep the momentum going. I'm going to bring up another example right here. So Sloth, he right now can do the same thing. He could clear this downfield. Instead, what he's doing is he's trying to find Brando here. He has one player approaching. He doesn't want to send the ball towards that player. So he connects over the Brando. Brando gets a good hit and clears it downfield. So always be looking out for your teammates. Try to connect with your teammates if you can. Put the ball towards them. In most cases, they're going to make better touches on the ball and be able to keep the momentum going. All right, guys, final words of advice. Do not be afraid of ranked. Get in there, go ahead and play some ranked, get your ranks up, and seek out friends in the community. Make a post, saying that you want to play ranked, and people will join up, and it's going to make the game a lot more enjoyable. So check out our Facebook page, The Dad Gaming Rocket League, if you're not already a member. It's a great place to be, and we host Tuesday tournaments every Tuesday, so make sure you join up on those as well. It's a great way to play with a mix of ranks. We got grand champs in there, we got bronzes, we got a whole lot of people just looking to have a great time. This is going to be it. I'm wrapping it up. Coach JSU signing out. Until next time.